Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of our favorite guitar teams, our favorite rock guitar teams of all time. We've got 31 days here in October. We're going back and we're picking out together, both you and I, our favorite guitar teams, two or more guys in a band, could be women as well, who made some great music together. Like I've been saying each and every day, could be two amazing lead players or maybe one great lead player and one killer rhythm guitar player. But together they were so integral to the sound of that band or artist that they're performing with. And just really, really memorable stuff that these guys did together. So today is no exception. This is one of the great, not only guitar teams of all time, but also one of the great bands of all time that sadly weren't together all that long. I'm talking about the classic lineup of the Pat Travers band, Pat Travers and Pat Thrall, right? Pat Thrall, of course, coming over from Automatic Man to join Pat Travers' band because Pat had historically, in the few albums prior to Heat in the Street from 1977, had been just the main guitar player in the band. And then with this album, of course, that all changed. And for a few albums, for a few years, you had joining Peter Mars Cowling and Pat Thrall, and Tommy Aldridge, of course, came over from Black Oak, Arkansas. And a series of classic albums, including that one, Heat in the Street, absolutely terrific. Go All Night's on here, title track, Hammerhead, absolutely amazing. Evie, great songs there. And then, of course, they come out and they release this monster of an album. Pat Travers Band Live, Go For What You Know, one of the great live albums of the late 70s. Most of Pat's greatest hits or best songs contained on this particular live album. Hooked on Music, Getting Better, Go All Night, Boom Boom, Out Go the Lights, Stevie, Making Magic, Heat in the Street, Makes No Difference. Great stuff. To describe the music of the Pat Travers Band around this time period, it's very up-tempo, energetic, blues, funk, and hard rock. It's probably the best way to describe the music of Pat Travers Band. Great rhythms, scorching guitar licks and guitar solos. And, one of the great things about these two guys, both Pats here, kind of distinct styles, right? They both had these little things that they did that meshed really, really well together. Both amazing soloists. Both could play, like I said, bluesy hard rock really, really well. Pat Thrall would use lots of cool, like little delay patterns in his tones and in his textures, whereas Pat Travers was, big on using like flanger and chorus effects, right, to kind of get his sound across. So you kind of mesh the two of them, and it's just really, really amazing. And both, like I said, really incredible soloists, very explosive soloists, and weaving their lines together again, taking kind of like the Thin Lizzy thing, and lots of harmonies and stuff. Really, really excellent stuff. One of the great live albums of that era. And of course, they would go on to do the Crash and Burn album together, which was the biggest selling studio album of Pat's career. There you can see the two guys right there. All right, and then the other two. This is one, like I said, one of the great bands of all time. And on here you've got, of course, the title track, which is more of kind of like a keyboardy type song. You got Can't Be Right, great rocker. Snortin' Whiskey could be like the best track, or the most ferocious track this lineup had ever produced. Snortin' Whiskey, just a classic Pat Travers song. Guitar riffs and licks and solos all over the place. It's heavy, it's kick-ass, it's groove-laden. They do a great cover of Born Under a Bad Sign. You got the cover of the reggae track Is This Love by Bob Marley. You got the big event, Love Will Make You Strong and Materialize. And sadly, this would be the last full, record that this four-piece would work on. So while the Radioactive album does have Pat Thrall and Tommy Aldridge listed as playing on here, How much they actually play on here remains to be seen. I think that by the time they got into the studio to do this, I think those two were kind of already out the door for various reasons, and they probably make some contributions on here, but probably not much, because this is basically listed as Pat Travers, Mars Cowling, Sandy Gennaro on drums, and Michael Shreve on percussion, with kind of like thanks to Pat Thrall and Tommy Aldridge. So they probably added a couple things here and there, but again, how much, who knows. But some good stuff on here as well. New Age music is absolutely terrific. I kind of wish the whole album was like that, because New Age music is really, really good. But there's some good tracks on there as well. But for the bulk of experiencing what this lineup, these two guys together, was all about, you got to go check out Crash and Burn, Heat in the Street. That's really the two full-length studio albums, and then of course the live album, which takes some of the great tracks from those two albums, well, from one of the albums, and all of the previous Pat Travers Band albums. So, not a long history together, sadly. But as when I talked to Pat recently, he told me that this was one of the great bands he's ever played with, and he says probably in hindsight, looking back, it was probably never destined to stay together for too long, but we did some great things together. They absolutely did. So to me, kind of untapped potential with this guitar pairing, Pat Travers and Pat Thrall. I think if they would have stayed together another few years, few albums, they would go down to one of the absolute all-time greats. They already are to me, but it's such a short period of time. So that's my pick today. Pat Travers and Pat Thrall from the Pat Travers Band. Let us know what you think of this configuration in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, day 16. And stay tuned for another one tomorrow, day 17, as we kick off the work week. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. Please hit that like button before you leave. And if you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and clicking on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. We also have the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page. We have all sorts of lots of new Sea Tranquility designs and shirts. We have a lot more stuff available on hoodies now as the colder weather's coming in most parts of the world. So check out that link below to our merch page and see all the cool stuff we have available. And we'll see you real soon here with another guitar team coming right at you tomorrow. I am Pete Pardo. Take care. Bye-bye.